The Invest in Her podcast is brought to you in part by Wells Fargo Bank. Hi, I'm Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. I'm also the podcast host of Invest in Her and an award-winning producer, author, and TEDx speaker. Our show, Invest in Her, features phenomenal female founders and funders. As you know, women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. Our series is about accelerating the funding of women by connecting them to funding resources. Let's meet today's guest. Welcome to this week's edition of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation and producer of Show Her the Money movie that we have on the road right now. We're hitting over 100 cities worldwide and excited for you all to see it. I have on a very special guest today. She is the founder of Women Connect4Good Foundation. She's also a speaker, an author, and a podcast host. Please welcome to the show, Dr. Nancy O'Reilly. Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm great. So glad to be with you again.
Yeah, I've always loved the name of your foundation, Women Connect4Good. Love it.
Exactly. And I love Show Her the Money. That documentary is absolutely wonderful. It makes me so happy every time I watch it. So,
I love that.
Congratulations on that. Yeah,
Thank you. May I ask what city you saw it in?
What's that?
Where did you see the movie?
On the link to on your website.
Oh, right. The trailer for it. Absolutely. Yeah. No. The trailer is powerful and the movie even more powerful. And, we thought we were going to be in 50 cities with Show Her the Money, but now we are hitting over 100 cities worldwide and it's super exciting. And thank you for being a champion. So let's talk about all the incredible work you're doing. First of all, you have a new book coming out. Now, you've authored several books, but the newest one coming out is called Mission Matters. Tell me about that book.
Well, this is in partnership with Adam Torres, who is the Mission Matters guru. But we started, I did a podcast with him, and then he did vice versa. We did podcasts with each other, and we started talking about all the amazing women that we partner with. Women Connect4Good is about partnerships. It's about collaboration. We're only as good as our partnerships and the community that we build. And so for me, it's always been extremely important. So this is actually 12 authors that we brought together who basically have amazing missions and amazing purposes. But the one thing that we really share together is the passion and the purpose that we all have to make women's equality and gender equity and women's leadership top in our country right now.
Tell me about one or two of the women in the book.
Okay, well, let me just say, one of them is Tiffany Shalane. She is probably 50-50 women. She has done amazing documentaries. We just had a program in Washington, D.C., Dendro Feminology. She just continues to work on women's leadership like nobody you've ever met, but her amazing artistic abilities are just phenomenal. So she'll be speaking. I'll be talking about her. And of course, Zakiya Thomas. Zakiya is the CEO, and she is the CEO of the ERA Coalition, the Equal Rights Coalition, which is partnering with over 300 organizations, which is basically primarily to get the ERA amendment passed as the 28th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America. Most people don't even know it hasn't passed. Some people don't even know what it is.
Let's talk about that. Let's dissect it. Let's talk about what it is, why it hasn't passed, and what it's going to take to pass it. So let's first talk about what is it?
Well, equality, this goes back 100 years. This amendment came out over 100 years ago. We just had the anniversary in December, 100-year anniversary. The Equal Rights Amendment, which is basically everybody has equality. Men and women pay, healthcare, education, I mean, it wouldn't it be phenomenal if we all were on the same page and that we all had the same opportunities and to get ahead, to make our lives even better and better. Wouldn't people be a lot more happy and satisfied, and the world would be such a better place?
I think most men agree with this too, because let's face it, they have daughters, they have wives, they have friends, they have mothers, they all have mothers. Of course they want equal rights for men and women. Women want it, men want it. Why don't we have it? 100 years, and a lot of young women don't even know that we don't even have equal rights because this amendment has never been passed. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I would say, with a new woman president on the horizon, I have a feeling it's finally going to pass, right?
Yeah. In fact, we had some good news just a day or so about, again, really pulling this up as far as something extremely important during this election process. But, I think the most important thing is awareness. Many people don't know what it is. Many people don't know that it hasn't passed. I mean, it really is. It's very discouraging. We had a march in April from the White House, from the Capitol to the White House, and again, we spoke at the Senate. Again, it's really about more and more people understanding what a wonderful thing it would be. The pay gap, we talk about it all the time. So really, anything that you can do, Catherine, to publicize more about the ERA Coalition, that's what we're hoping. 300 organizations, that the more that join with us. And like I said, we only need 4 more votes from Congress to get this published.
So, Nancy, what we're saying is what's holding it up is not enough members of Congress have voted for this?
Well, what they did was they put a timeline on it, that if it wasn't passed during a certain time period, then it was defunct. And so part of it is rectifying that timeline so that it can, in fact, be voted for. But we still need those 4 votes to make sure it's passed. It's voted for and passed and put into the Constitution. So,
right.
I'm excited. I think there's a great opportunity right now because of what's going on in our country. Some of the leadership that we need desperately that are actually talking about issues about getting ahead and having opportunities that people have never had before, but that we really want people to understand America is strong. We have so many wonderful resources, but we need to share those and understand that we are all in this together, all of us.
So our goal is to get 4 more Congress people to sign into law the 28th Amendment.
To get the time frame.
So they have to change the time. They have to vote to change the time frame so that they can then again vote it in, so that we have the 28th Amendment, which is the ERA, Equal Rights Amendment, in place so that there's equal rights between men and women and all people.
Right, absolutely.
Incredible.
Once the ERA is passed and put into the Constitution, then the job will be of all states interpreting those. I'm going to say something, and I always get in trouble saying this, but you know what? Our country has been run basically by old white men, and what we have to do is
you're just speaking a fact.
What's that?
You're just speaking a fact.
I know. Yeah. Old white men have been running our country. Women, we have money. We have lots of money.
And brains.
Money, and we need to start using it to support our we've got some wonderful women vote looking for in the elections, looking for positions. We need to vote for those people, those women. We have women supporting women. That's really what Women Connect for Good is, by the way. It's women supporting the mission, the purpose, and the passion of other women. And we've been doing this since 2012. And it's amazing when we all come together and we do these things together. It's so much more fun. So much more fun.
It's fun. It's powerful. It's magical when we come together and we, as they say, get shit done.
Yeah. Well, and then you talk a lot, show her the money. Women have money, but we don't talk about it. We don't think about it the same way as men do. But I tell you what, I see money as a vehicle. I see it as a tool. Money opens doors. It's for operations. It's for getting what you want. And we need more women to use their money, to use their resources to make things happen in this country.
And our Show Her the Money tour, which is a movie and a movement, so I call it a movement, is really about getting more women to be investors. We need to invest in other women. It makes a great investment. And it helps make the world a better place, and it can be a very lucrative endeavor as well as an impactful investment. So that's really what our film is about, the women investing in venture capital and investing in women business owners.
Well, before COVID, one of the fastest growing trends were women to own businesses. COVID came, and many of those businesses, of course, women having to deal with childcare issues and other, losing jobs and all that above. That has changed, but that still continues to be something very, very important in our country, are women-owned businesses, because women know what we need. We're problem solvers, but we also know that only about 2%, as you said, investors, and only about 2% invest in women-owned businesses. And that's absolutely crazy.
It is absolutely crazy.
When we invest in women, we've seen it in companies, we've seen it in corporations, we've seen it in board positions and leadership positions. When women hold those positions, those companies, those organizations benefit and are more successful. The stats show it over and over again.
Yeah, 2% of venture capital goes to women, BIPOC, LGBTQ. Imagine all that brain power being funded would really impact the world and what products and services we're going to see in the future. And so it's a very important endeavor and a mission of ours to help change that. And, it's women like you that are championing us and giving us platforms like your podcast, Smart, Amazing Conversations with Dr. Nancy, that are going to help us get there as we spread the awareness and educate people and inspire them from everything from the ERA to venture capital and how we can make inroads there. I also noticed that you're on the board of the National Women's History Museum. That hasn't been around for all that long, right?
That's not true.
Oh, how long has it been there?
It's had a digital platform for over 20 years.
But when they built the building in D.C., how many years ago was that?
They don't have a building.
Oh, they still don't have a building? Oh, I thought they
did. That's really not something that we're interested in so much. Oh. We do have an office. What we did was we partnered with the Martin Luther King Library for the Black Matters, Black Feminist Exhibition, which was phenomenal. In fact, it's just closing now, but it's hopefully going to be moving around the country. One of the things that what we want to do is partner with libraries and set up exhibitions. There's exhibitions going on all over the country right now. The Quarters program, and of course, these educational programs are ongoing all across the United States. But no, the digital platform for the National Women's History Museum has been in existence for over 20 plus years. And of course, that continues to grow, but we have a full board, and we do have an office in Washington, D.C., but that's not really the goal of the National Women's History Museum, because we see, again, those partnerships and that collaboration also so very, very important also in our country. And we're also on the Smithsonian board as well. And so there's always been some confusion about that. They're actually talking about starting a digital platform also. So now the digital platform has been in existence for over 20 plus years.
Because a few years ago, I'd been talking to some women that were trying to raise money to build a women's National History Museum in Washington, D.C. And I guess that hasn't transpired yet. But I think it's crazy that there's not a women's history museum in existence that is somewhere that you could go and visit and see, memorabilia and stuff.
Catherine, look at the number of universities that have dropped their women's studies programs. Yeah. Look at the number of universities again, the importance of the history of women. I mean, we have to continue to tell the stories. You and I are standing on the shoulders of so many women that helped us to be on this podcast today, talking about the things that we're talking about, involved in the things that we're involved in, and making a difference because of those women's voices and their stories. But, again, the history books, look at the history books. There are so many stories of men, but what about the stories of the women?
Yeah, I think women are always surprised when they hear things like, one part of our movie is talking about what inventions were created by women. And most women and just most people don't know, that women created everything from, refrigerators to central air to windshield wipers, beer, you name it. There's so many things that they created that people have no idea it was a woman. And we definitely need to make that known.
The movie Hidden Figures was a wonderful.
Hidden Figures, perfect example.
It took over 10 years, by the way, to get that movie to the public.
Yes, one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's one of my favorite, but that women and computers and navigation and we wouldn't have gone anywhere as far as our space program if it hadn't been for these Black women who were engineers and, specialists. But, I love that movie. If anybody wants to think about history and think about what women have done, go watch Hidden Figures, because you'll walk out of there thinking to yourself, my gosh. And, a couple of them are still living, which is phenomenal. But there wouldn't have been a space program without them.
Right. Absolutely.
No space program.
Absolutely. How do you like doing your podcast, Smart, Amazing Conversations with Dr. Nancy?
Well, I just got off one with Maheen Khaleen, and she is an amazing woman, and she is the vice president of grant makers for women of color, girls of color, and she's doing some phenomenal work to help organizations to fund. We've talked about that 2%, but it's 0.5% of investors invest in girls of color programs. So she's doing some amazing things, and again, what they're doing is helping organizations by funding and giving them grants to do the things they need to do. But they're all over the United States right now. And of course, we know, the sooner girls are involved in leadership roles, we talk about girls. I was talking to somebody the other day, women that go to girls' colleges, girls' universities. Hillary Clinton, many women went to girls' schools, girls' women universities, but ended up being leaders because they had the support of other women. So girls of color, this organization is wonderful because they're making grants and helping these organizations to really get off the ground. And of course, they're connecting all these organizations with each other. Girls Inc. is one of the fastest growing organizations in our country. And again, many of the girls that are helped with Girls Inc. come from families that have special needs and have economic challenges. And these women end up being amazing leaders in our country. So the sooner we invest in girls, and I agreed with Maheen, is the sooner we invest in girls and they understand that they are deserving, that somebody has their back, and that somebody actually wants to hear what they have to say, can make all the difference in the world.
100%.
I'm very lucky. Catherine, I've got 3 daughters and I've got 7 granddaughters. I have no choice but to listen to girls and to leave a legacy for my daughters and for their daughters.
You are indeed doing that. And I wanted to mention, with Show Her the Money, we had so many universities and high schools request to show our movie to their students. Yeah. And we realized, and they asked us to build a curriculum. So we're building a curriculum to go with it so that young women in high school and college and at universities at that age can learn about venture capital as a path for a career path, an investment path, a funding path for their businesses. So super excited to be teaching young women about venture capital also. That's going to be a game changer.
I'd love to do a podcast on that. So let's plan on doing that, because right now I think that's more important than anything. Our relationship with money, and I think you've talked about that before. It's so very, very important, the relationship, especially women, girls and women. I worked all through high school. I realized something very important. Money was the vehicle that I had a car. I could buy what I wanted. I didn't have to ask, but I always had money, and I was absolutely thrilled to have my own money. So I think this is something so very important for us to start teaching girls, especially at a young age, the importance and their relationship with money.
Definitely. Well, Nancy, thank you for creating Women Connect4Good Foundation that does so much good in the world to help women and girls. And thanks for doing your book, which is coming out, Mission Matters, which when will that be on the market?
You're going to see it at Take the Lead, the 10th anniversary. We're going to showcase it at the 10th anniversary of Take the Lead in Washington, D.C. on August 26th.
And if this airs after that, which it may, people will be able to get it on Amazon, right?
They'll be able to get it everywhere.
Perfect.
Everywhere.
Perfect. Mission Matters, everybody. And also be sure to turn into her podcast, Smart, Amazing Conversations with Dr. Nancy. I'm looking forward to being on there soon. And everybody, just make it a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy to talk to you about the ERA and look into the ERA Coalition to see how you could help with that as well. And you can find Dr. Nancy O'Reilly on, I take it, LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, we're everywhere, but you can just Google me, Dr. Nancy O'Reilly, Women Connect4Good. And the other thing, of course, is the Lift Women Up campaign, which is ongoing. And this is something that, when we lift as we rise with another woman, anything is possible. And that's what you do all the time, Catherine. You're always lifting other women as you rise in your excellence as far as what you're doing. So we lift and we rise, and amazing things happen.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and really appreciate the work you're doing. So find us both on LinkedIn, Dr. Nancy O'Reilly, and then Catherine Gray with a C, Gray with an A, and of course our social media around the movie, Show Her the Money, and my website, SheAngelInvestors.com. We appreciate you tuning in. Remember to invest in her, invest in another woman, and make it a great day. Thanks, Dr. Nancy.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.